So Kal Kadosh, we're going to start with Parashat Vaera. The Torah says, the Pasuk says, Vaydaber Elokim el Moshe. So the Lekach Tov brings down that from the time that HaKadosh Baruch Hu speaks to Moshe in the Sinai, we find Shisha Asar Amirot LeMoshe Mipi HaGevurah. There are 16 times that Hashem speaks to Moshe Rabbeinu. U'kulam lo ne'emar dibur ela vayomer vayomer. All the time it was written vayomer. It was not written dibur. 16, 1-6. Ve'kevan she'amar Moshe lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But once he tells them, Kadosh Baruch Hu, ve'atzel lo yitzalta et amecha, that you didn't save the Jewish nation. Miyad itchila midat adin lekatreg alav. Immediately came the midat adin, and the midat adin was starting to be mekatreg. It started accusing. Shneimar vaydaber Elokim el Moshe en dibur el lashon kashe. So whenever it says right dibur, it's kashe. So the question is, how many times does it say in the Torah vaydaber Hashem Moshe lemor? Always. It always says vaydaber Hashem Moshe lemor. Yeah. So what does that mean? So he said tons of times. So therefore, what does it say? V'yesh lomar dehatam keti vaydaber Hashem. There it's written vaydaber Hashem el Moshe lemor. Hashem is Yud Ke Vav Ke. So even though it's written vaydaber, which is again it was a stricter lashon, but it says vaydaber Hashem el Moshe. Here it's written vaydaber Elokim, so it's double. You understand? That means even though usually the word vaydaber means strict, right? But even if it says vaydaber, it says vaydaber Hashem el Moshe lemor. Hashem is Yud Ke Vav Ke, Yidat Rachamim. But once it says vaydaber and Elokim, now it's not just stam, it's harsh. Yeah, it's very, very harsh. Okay? No, it doesn't say vaydaber ze Elokim. No, whenever it says vaydaber Hashem el Moshe lemor, Hashem is Yud Ke Vav Ke. But here it's vaydaber Elokim el Moshe. Vaydaber and Elokim, so it's double. Yeah? Because he just said the pasuk before, he said the pasuk before, v'atzel lo yitzalta et amecha.
It's okay, it's Hashem, obviously it's Hashem, but we don't know what.
No, but the word vaydaber already is strict. Vaydaber is a stricter language. Vayomer is lenient. So he says, but what usually how many times does it say vaydaber Hashem Moshe lemor? Tons of times. So he says, but when it doesn't say vaydaber Elokim and Moshe lemor, when it says vaydaber Elokim, is much worse. So therefore it's both. It's vaydaber and Elokim. That's why it's midat adin. So why is it like that? Because of what we just mentioned, right? That it was he said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'atzel lo yitzalta et amecha, that you didn't come and you didn't save the Jewish nation. When Hashem hears the Moshe Rabbeinu saying, I didn't save the Jewish nation, vaydaber Elokim. Now we're talking. Now it's strict. Now it's harsh judgment. And he says, "V'zeh hamakom hayachid shekatuv b'Torah vaydaber Elokim el Moshe." The only place in the entire Torah where it's written vaydaber Elokim el Moshe. Meaning vaydaber Hashem el Moshe lemor, there's tons, right? But again, it's Hashem. Yud Ke Vav Ke, Rachamim. So even though it's written vaydaber, it's still Yud Ke Vav Ke. But here it says vaydaber Elokim. Yeah. What? I can't hear you.
So where is it?
Vaera, the first pasuk. The first pasuk. I'm starting the first pasuk. Yeah, vaydaber Elokim el Moshe. Yeah, fine. Ayotze midvarenu. Yeah, so here you have two things. You have also the midat adin of Elokim and also midat adin of vaydaber. Fine. That's also brought down in the Malbim. The Malbim says, what's the difference between dibur and amirah? כשאמר וידבר השם משה לאמור במילה ודבר, כוונתו שדיבר עמו באורך והודיעו סודות התורה וההלכות שנמסרו לו בעל פה. When it says וידבר, you know what it means when it says וידבר השם משה לאמור? That he spoke to him for a long time, and he tells him a lot of the secrets of the Torah and the halachot, which were בעל פה. ובמילת לאמור, כוונתו רק הלשון שנאמר לו בתורת הכתב. Right? That's what he says. ולא בלשון וידבר רק במשה. That means whenever it says וידבר, vaydaber is only by Moshe Rabbeinu, because only by Moshe Rabbeinu does HaKadosh Baruch Hu come and give over all of his speech. ולא בלשון וידבר רק משה, לא בשום נביא, מכיוון שרק אם משה דיבר באורך, ומסר לו צפונותיו וסתריו, ומשקים שאר נביאים. That means by all the other Nevi'im, it's always Vayomer. By Moshe Rabbeinu, it's vaydaber. Why? Because the vaydaber there is talking about that they had a long speech. They had a long dialogue. It wasn't just a very short thing. They had a long dialogue. That's why it says vaydaber. That's the Malbi. Of course, but that means it wasn't a long dialogue. It was a short one. The highest Neviut, Pel Pe. We're going to speak about it a few times. Very good. Okay? Fine. Then it comes and he starts. Yeah, v'gam ani shemati et bnei Bnei Israel. I heard all the cries of Bnei Israel. And then we have all the lishonot of Geula. Yeah, so listen to this. Zohar HaKadosh. Yeah, the Zohar HaKadosh says, וזה תוכן דבריהם. רבי יהודה אמר, מקרא זה הפוך הוא. שכתוב, והוצאתי אתכם מתחת סבלות מצרים מתחילה. ואחר כך והצלתי אתכם מעבודתם. ואחר כך וגאלתי אתכם. והרי היה לו לומר מתחילה וגאלתי אתכם. ואז והוצאתי אתכם. Right? So basically the question is like this. What are the four lishonot? What are the languages used in order to get out? Yeah, what were the lishonot? Yeah, let's take a pasuk. Let's take a... We're going to take the order. What is the order? Yeah, so if you take the Parasha says, yeah, והוצאתי אתכם מתחת סבלו מצרים, והצלתי אתכם מעבודתם, וגאלתי אתכם בזרוע נטויה, ולקחתי אתכם לי, והייתי לכם לאלוקים וידעתם כי אני השם עוקפיים. והבאתי אתכם אל הארץ אשר נשאתי את ידי. והבאתי. The first one is, והוצאתי אתכם מתחת סבלו מצרים, then והצלתי אתכם מעבודתם, and then גאלתי אתכם. Which one should have come first? So he says here like this. He says, Hamusag Geula. What does it mean, Geula? Geula, the mashmaut of Geula is redemption. The concept of redemption is Achzarat Achefza Livshuta Kodemet. You're taking the object back to its original status quo. For example, when you do Geula Tielo, or you're going to be Goel Adam, or you're going to do all these things of Geula. What does it mean, Geula? Geula means I'm taking it back to the original status quo. So for example, I sold a field. Yeah, I didn't have enough money to have my field, so I sold it. What do? I'm allowed to be Goel, the field. Right? Geula tielo vayovel yotze. Right? What happens? When I come and I do Geula, I bring it back to the original status quo. It's mine. So what does Geula mean? Geula means you're bringing it back to the status quo. מלשון כי ימוך אחיך ומחל מאחוזתו, ובא גואלו הקרוב ובגאל, אמין כרכיב. וכן מה שכתב כאן, וגאלתי פירושו, שאגל אתכם משיבום מצרים, and I'm going to make them בני חורין. So therefore, Rabbi Yehuda comes and he asks, 1 second. So מקודם היה לו לומר, וגאלתי אתכם, כלומר שאעשה אתכם בני חורין. Afterwards, והוצאתי אתכם, I'm going to take you out of מצרים. The first Geula, the first things that come first is Geula. Why Geula? You were free men. Now you became slaves. How do I free you? I give you Geula. Now you're free again. So the first step should have been written, Vegalti etchem. Yeah, Vegalti etchem. It doesn't say that. Which one?
Should have been omitted, probably.
No, because now you're going to be free. You become free men. How do you become free? Vegalti. The second one is Vitzalti etchem. I saved you from work. One second. Very good, 1 second. So now the question that we ask ourselves though is 1 second, but what's going on? Because at the end of the day, what's happening? Here we have the lishonot, they're mixed up. Because the first lashon should have been Vegalti etchem. Why Vegalti etchem? Because it says the Zohar, it should have been the redemption. The redemption is now that I'm taking you out of Mitzrayim, and you're free men. So the first thing should have said Vegalti. Umeshiv, but rather he says, Ikara kol amar tchila, first he said the main thing. He first wanted to tell them the best out of all the things. What's the best things out of all the things? Yetziat Mitzrayim. Meaning, even though you're right, the order of the Geula was the opposite order. First, I make you into free men, and then I let you run away. I take you out. You understand? But I'm going to tell you the best one of all. What's the best one of all? Yetziat Mitzrayim. So that's why he comes and he tells them the first one, Yetziat Mitzrayim. Amar Rabbi Yosef, meshubach bikulamu. Right? He says, 1 second. Is that true? I thought the meshubach mikulam is v'lakachti etchem li v'yitil lachem lelokim. I thought that I'm going to take you as a nation. That should have been even better than Mitzrayim. V'etzeh amar lahem levasof. They only told them at the end. Amar lo, he said, bizman ahu lo haya lahem davar meshubach ela yitziyah. At that moment in time, says the Zohar HaKadosh, the most important was that I'm going to take you out of Mitzrayim. You're not there at the level yet that I'm going to take you as a nation. You're not there yet. So therefore, right now, what's the most important? Yetziat Mitzrayim. I'm going to tell you Yetziat Mitzrayim first. They thought they were going to stay there forever. They saw with their own eyes. They used to catch them with kshafim, and nobody was ever able to get out. So therefore, the first thing that he told them was Yetziat Mitzrayim. And therefore, he says, but maybe they're going to come out afterwards to do bad to you. So therefore, he went and he told them, So he says, okay, fine. Let's say you got out and you got saved, but lo tiyeh lahem geula, which means that even though they come out and they ran out, they're still going to become avadim. So he says, no, you're not going to have any people on top of you as well. Nobody's going to accept them. So he says, now I took them. Now, what is this exactly concept of the kshafim? Well, what kshafim? What are we talking about now? Witchcraft, black magic. What's going on here? So he says like this. Listen very carefully. This is brought down in the name of the Shach. The Me'am Loez brings this down, and he says, "Tayu asara she'arim b'medina." Yeah, how many gates were there in Mitzrayim? Yeah, 10 gates. How do you know that already? Yaakov Avinu, his 10 children, each one went into a different gate, and they kept on suspecting them that they were spies. So he says here, "Val kol sha'ar asumin surah." On every single one, they made a special form, an image. Be'echad surat aryeh, one of them they made a lion, another one a dog, another one a camel, another one a fox, and other chayot mitzvot v'asiyot b'kishuf. Everything was done with witchcraft. Im adam haya rotze livroach, if somebody wanted to run out, hayta chaya hi matchila litzok, it started screaming. Ve'chol hachayot onot acharei kulan kachat, everyone started screaming. That means the second that there was a breach in one, all the sirens all over would start. Right? If they went to the one that was a dog, you start screaming. Once it started, so all the dogs would come together and start screaming. That means automatically, where was the breach? By the dog. So they know which shad is the dog one. So they knew what was going on. They used to run there and they used to catch him. So they did all of them like that. According to the screamings, they knew exactly where to go after him. And therefore, that's why nobody was able to run away. Not during the nighttime, not during the daytime, nothing. Because it was so well connected, there was nothing. Nowadays, you hear the alarm. You don't know which door it is. You would have to go to the alarm system and see, okay, it's number one. What's number one? You go, okay, number one is the front door. Number 7. Number 7 is a side window. Yeah, here's in 2 seconds. Everyone knew. They knew exactly where it was. Boom. Everyone after. Exactly. It sounds of the alarms, and then all of them come in. Boom. Yeah. Rabbeinu Bachiyai Piresh, though, he comes and he says like this. Yeah. What is HaKadosh Baruch Hu coming and giving them the 4 leshonot of Geula? Yeah, the 4 leshonot of Geula. Right? V'otzati, v'tzalti, v'galti, v'lakachti. Right? V'yisher otam et arba besurot. So he came and he said otam be'arba besurot. He told them 4 great news. Number 1, shayu niftarim min hashibud. They're going to become freed from subjugation. Vehem omdim bishutam, which means, yeah, that they were going to be still in their possession still. Because remember, how many months beforehand did they stop working? How many months beforehand did they stop working? When did they stop working in Mitzrayim?
When they started the plagues.
No, 1 month before the plague.
No, by the time of the plagues.
Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah, which is 6 months before Yetziat Mitzrayim, they had the preparation that they stopped working. All the work stopped. Yeah. Which one?
Not with the plagues.
With the plagues, there's a whole question about with the plagues. It depends how long the plagues took. Because if you're going to say that each one took, which one? If you're going to say it's 1 month, so then it's more. Because that means the plague started how much in advance? No, how many plagues? There's 10 plagues. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So it's not with the plagues. You understand? They stopped on Rosh Hashanah. It's a Gemara Mefureshet. The Gemara says, right, that on Rosh Hashanah they stopped. On Rosh Hashanah, Yosef was taken out of Bet Asurim, and on Rosh Hashanah, Bnei Israel stopped from doing the service in Mitzrayim. So that's what Rabbeinu Bachiyai brings down here as well. So the first one is that all of a sudden you're going to stop working. Yeah? And that's what it means. V'tzeti etchem mitachat tzivlot Mitzrayim. Okay? Hasheni shiyu niftarim em legamre mitachat rishut. The second one is, bichlal, you're not going to be under them at all. Yeah? Hashlishi, shifticham bekriyat Yam Suf. The third one is by Yam Suf. V'arevi'i is b'matan Torah. Yeah? So that means, listen, 4 things were said, and these 4 leshonot. Now we're going to explain them. Because what does that mean? How do we get into Yitzhak Kriyat Yam Suf? How do we get into Matan Torah? What's going on? So he says like this. מה שכתב יהיו נפטרים מן השיבוד, זה שאמר והוצאתי אתכם מתחת סבלות מצרים. והיא הבטחה שיהיו נפטרים מן השיבוד. That means you stopped working. That's number one. Omnam hemot tachat rishon, but they're still there. They were still there for 6 months. As just like Rabotenu Zal amru, Rosh Hashanah betla avodah me'Rabotenu b'Mitzrayim, v'ayita geula b'Tevet b'Nisan. So Masha katav shiyu niftarim tachat rishon legamar, that they're going to be completely get freed from them. That's v'yitzalti otchem me'avodatam. V'yavtacha sheyitzu mitachat rishutan, they're going to go out of their possessions completely. V'shelo yitacha b'mshaltan l'mas oved klal, they're not going to be nothing there. They're going to be completely bnei chorin. Now that they say about Kriyat Yam Suf, that's v'galti etchem. Ga'alti is not that now you're going to become freed. Galti etchem is Kriyat Yam Suf. What's the connection? He says, Galti etchem bizroa netuya u'vishvatim gedolim. Says, Remez Kriyat Yam Suf nechshavu geulim. Ki ha'eved yoyotze mitachat yad adon hakasher shemara b'chayav v'kam mnei shavutim v'tzach l'shachol me'otav v'lesot ben cholim lekolcho od ha'eved yareu mitpachet ben yidof adonav achrav. If you're forced to free someone, what happens? The slave is still afraid. Why? He's just waiting to see when are they going to catch you. Somebody escapes from prison. Yeah? So what? They're scot-free? They're not scot-free. They're always afraid that they're going to get caught. In a sense, they're going to get afraid. They're still afraid. So now you tell them, no, you're completely, that's it. Nobody's going to run after you anymore. Now they have a true geula. So he says, Ve'ena geula shlema etzel ha'eved ad shitbarer b'mitat ha'adon. Until the master dies, there's no true freedom for the slave. Yeah, until the master doesn't die, there's no true freedom. That's why it's not written geula for Yetziat Mitzrayim. Yetziat Mitzrayim, it's not written geula, redemption. There was no redemption by Yetziat Mitzrayim. The redemption was by Kriyat Yam Suf. When they were destroyed, he saved them. So therefore he says, Bizroa netuya. What is Bizroa netuya? Hayada gedola on Mitzrayim. Right? As it says, Uri livshi oz zero Hashem. Viski bishvatim gedolim, because they were judged very harshly. As it says, Sus v'lo chavor amavayam, and everything was what we mentioned until now. V'ma shekatav matan Torah, v'lakachti etchem li la'am. And that was Avtacha b'matan Torah. So it's actually a beautiful concept. So it's actually brought down that these 4 leshonot, we thought the 4 leshonot all had to do with Yetziat Mitzrayim. It was Yetziat Mitzrayim, but it wasn't only Yetziat Mitzrayim. 2 of them were Yetziat Mitzrayim. The other 2, one of them was Kriyat Yam Suf, and one of them was Matan Torah. And now the order makes sense. Because if not, if you're not going to say this, so then you had the question. You first should have said Geula first. And then it should have said all the rest of the things. But no, because really, Be'emet, this was the order. First, there was that you're not going to be tachat sivlot mitzrayim. You're going to be a mitzrayim, but you're not going to be tachat. You're not going to work anymore. The second one was bichlal. You're at a mitzrayim. The third one is geula. The geula is not leaving mitzrayim. You still didn't have geula yet. The geula is only after vayosh Hashem yomahu, only after Kriyat Yam Suf. And the fourth one ve'lachachti etchem li is the Matan Torah. Now it makes sense. All the beautiful, the order of the ones. Now says Rabbeinu Bachyai, another incredible yesod, right? Shelo yipakem moshavo. Yeah, Rabbeinu Bachyai comes and he says, yeah, ve'otzeti min ha'amim, that listen to this. Tematzinu dugmatan arba leshonot shel geula latil lavo. That means these exact same leshonot are not only by Yetziat Mitzrayim. In the future, Bezrat Hashem, when Mashiach is going to come, there's also going to be four leshonot. It says in Yecheskel Lamedaled Yud Gimel, ve'otzeti min ha'amim, I'm going to take them out from the nations. Ve'kibatzti min ha'aratzot, I'm going to gather them in from the lands. Ve'viotim el admatam, and I'm going to bring them to their lands, to Eretz Yisrael. Ve'reitim al erei Yisrael, right? And then I'm going to have them there on the mountains of Israel. And that's why there's going to be the 4 kosot on Pesach. So basically what's going to happen is, then he says that there's also going to be 4 kosot, 4 leshonot, that 4 kosot that he's going to give a puranut to the reshaim. To the wicked people, they're also going to get 4 kosot. So the concept of 4 kosot is all over the place. Yeah, everyone has cups of wine. Yeah, 4 cups of wine. So not only was there 4 cups of wine of Yetziat Mitzrayim, there was also the 4 cups of wine Bezrat Hashem, the Geula Atidah. It's also going to be. Okay, very good. So that was where the 4 different leshonot of Geula. Okay, then all of a sudden it says, right, as follows. Yeah, he continues a little bit. And now it says, Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe lemor. Yeah, what does it mean when it says the word lemor? Yeah, but this is in Pasuk Yod. It says, Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe lemor, bo daber el paro men Mitzrayim, come and speak to me, send Bnei Yisrael from your land. The Ramban explains, אמרו המפרשים, דמילת לאמור, בכל התורה פירושו, the explanation is לאמור לישראל. Tal bnei Yisrael. Because when it says, וידבר Hashem Moshe, that means Hashem spoke to Moshe. What? Lemor, saying what? Say to Bnei Yisrael. Tal Bnei Yisrael. Right? Pirush, שאמר Hashem למשה, אמור דברי אלה לבני ישראל. ובכאן, לאמור לפרעה. So here, obviously, it's not to Bnei Yisrael, because he said, בוא דבר לפרעה מישראל. He says, yeah, בוא דבר לפרעה means go speak to Paro. So here, obviously, לאמור is not to Bnei Yisrael, it's to Paro. So he says, וקשה, לפי זה ממה שאמר לבן. What did Lavan say? אמש אמר אליי לאמור. Yesterday, he told me, saying. What do you mean saying? Yeah? What is, Lavan is telling Yaakov Avinu that he had a dream last night. So he said, Emesh, last night, huh? Yeah, Hashem spoke to him the night before. So he comes and he says, Emesh Amar Elai, he told me, Lemor. Well, what's Lemor then? Yeah, what's Lemor? Lemor there means saying. Saying to who? To tell you? To tell who? He's speaking to me directly. Right? So he comes and he says, V'chen berov ha'mekomot shekatuv, v'yidaber Hashem Moshe Lemor, u'chtiv batre, taber b'nei Yisrael. Right? How could that be? How can Lemor mean tell these words to Bnei Yisrael if sometimes it says Vaydaber Adonai Moshe Lemor Daber Bnei Yisrael? You just said Lemor. Lemor means tell Bnei Yisrael. So what is Daber Bnei Yisrael? So he says Uchtiv Batre V'anochom B'nai the milat Lemor bal lehorot la'amirat gemura lo amira mesupeket v'lo beremez davar. When it says Lemor, Lemor doesn't mean to tell over something else, but rather clear. Clear. Clear means not something which is going to be mesupat, megumgam. Yeah, lo megamgem. ולכן יתמים בכל התורה כי נבואת משה פה אל פה ידבר בו, ולא בחידות. ולבן אמר כן ליעקב, ומה שאמר לאמור באמירה ברורה שלא אזיק לכם. And there he told him barur. He said, don't you dare put your hands on Yaakov Avinu. And there he told the term very clear. If not, I would have done something bad to you. They were telling him mefurash. Okay, fine. So that was just an interesting thing to do with the word lemor. Okay? No, the mefarshim, the Ramban brings down some mefarshim that they say lemor means saying, and he says what I think it means clear. Yeah, that's what I think. Okay? Fine. Now it says Orach Chaim HaKadosh. Orach Chaim HaKadosh comes and he says like this. He says, let's listen to the pasuk. Vaydaber Hashem Moshe lemor. Speak to Moshe saying, Bo daber el Paro Mitzrayim. Go to Paro Melech Mitzrayim. Vishalach v'yisrael send them and he said, Vaydaber Moshe lifnei Hashem lemor. Says Hashem in front of Hashem saying, Hem b'nei Yisrael lo shamu elai. B'nei Yisrael, they didn't listen to me. V'ech yishmani Paro. How's Paro going to listen to me? Vani aral sefatayim. I stutter. Right? I'm aral sefatayim. How's he going to listen to me? So the Orach Chaim HaKadosh comes and he asks, yeah, what does it mean, the next pasuk then? Why? Because the exact next pasuk says, yeah, Vaydaber Hashem Moshe v'Aaron, Vaytzavem el b'nei Yisrael v'lo b'nei Yisrael. What was the answer? Yeah, one more time, yeah? What happens is, HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes and he tells Moshe Rabbeinu, go to Paro and tell Paro, take my nation out. Let my nation go. Yeah, that's the name of the book. Yeah, let my nation go. Let them out. Okay, very good. Comes Moshe Rabbeinu and he says, listen, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if Bnei Yisrael didn't listen to me, Paro's going to listen to me? Yeah, Kal V'chomer. It says Rashi, one of the 10 Kal V'chomers. Yeah, if Bnei Yisrael didn't listen to me, right, Paro's going to listen to me? What's going on? So what is the answer? Vaydaber Hashem Moshe ve'Aaron, says to Moshe to Aaron, right, Hashem says to Moshe and Aaron, Vaytzavem Bnei Yisrael, command Bnei Yisrael, ve'el Paro melech Mitzrayim to Paro melech Mitzrayim, to take them out of Mitzrayim. What's the answer? How did he answer it? Moshe Rabbeinu comes and he tells Hashem, I stutter. What do you want me to do? And what does Hashem answer? I'm going to read to you the Orach Chaim HaKadosh. מה שכתב וידבר השם, צריך לדעת מה דיבר השם. What did Hashem speak? What did he say? Number 2, ביור המאמר ויצווה מבני ישראל. What do you mean he commanded them? And number 3, היכן תשובת, right, אל עליון לדברי שלוחו. What's the answer? Right? ומה גם שטען טענה נשמעת. He said something good. Right? And even if you're going to tell me it's a Kal V'chomer, it's not a Kal V'chomer, you could have, but he should have answered him. Yeah? V'tiret, so he answers. Ki ba leshivo al bet ha'anotav. He comes to answer him on 2 of the things that he said. What did he say? Shetan shelo yikshivu Yisrael lishmo dvarav. Number one, Bnei Yisrael are not going to listen. And number two, there's something bad with Paro. Yeah, he's got a problem with Paro. He stutters. פירוש, השווה אותם בשליחות. ובזה ידבר אהרון גם לפרעה. So he says, don't worry about it. To do the stuttering, he's commanding also Aharon. We put Aaron in the picture. Why do we put Aaron in the picture? He's going to speak to Paro. Yeah, he's going to be the speaker. כי שניהם שווים בדבר. ובגין טענתו שלא נחשבים לשמוע להם, they're not going to listen to you. אז זה בא התשובה, ויצווהם. What does it mean ויצווהם? פירושו, כי נלחם על בני ישראל ועל פרעה מלשון, ויצווני השם לנגיד. ומעתה הנה מורם על ישראל ופרעה. They made them into important people, so now they're commanded them. Now you're under command. These are the important people. Now they're afraid. Now Bnei Yisrael are going to listen. Because beforehand, well, who are these guys? And now all of a sudden, now they're important people. Oh, now we're going to listen. Of Bnei Yisrael. They said, but Bnei Yisrael, there were two problems. There was one problem, Bnei Yisrael are not going to listen to me. And number two, Paro is not going to listen to me because I stutter. So to do with stuttering, Aharon. To do with Bnei Yisrael, like Tzavem. He commanded them. They became important people. Right? Once they became important, now everyone's going to be afraid of them. Okay? So that's what he says here. Now the Midrash says, what does it mean by Tzavem and Bnei Yisrael? He commanded them to separate from Avodah Zarah. Because it says, by Adam Arishon, by Tzav ze Avodah Zarah. And that's what it says in Yechezkel. Shayu Yisrael ovdim Avodah Zarah b'mitzayim, shneimar b'yom bechori Yisrael. So Omer alehem, so he told them, throw everything out. That's throw out all the Avodah Zarah. So when it's mentioned in the concept of Tzavem, what was the command? Command, get rid of all Avodah Zarah. The Midrash says, Rabbi Yaakov says, Ma'u vaytzavem. What does it mean vaytzavem? Amar le'akadosh baruch hu, shatfu harashim shebenehem imachem. You have to be mishatef everyone together. שכן כתיב אחריו, אלה ראשי בית אבותם, וזהו פירושו, ויצווהם לישראל, שחיברם למשה ולאהרון את הראשים שבישראל, שייסעו ויתנו עמהם בעסקם. What did they do? They got all the heads. Because basically, what happened was, that's what it says here, the Lashon Vaitzav is Lashon Tzavta. Tzavta or Chavruta, a group of people together. What do? They bring everyone together. So it wasn't only anymore Moshe and Aaron. It was Moshe and Aaron and Rashi Bet Avotam, all the heads. When you get all the heads together, now it's much easier. Because now it's everyone together in one group. It's not just like, two people and that's it. It's everyone together. And he says, Ve'el Paro melech Mitzrayim, Rashi explains, Sivam alam lachlok lo kavod. They have to speak with him to kavod. And that's what Moshe Rabbeinu did. Shneimar v'yaredu chol avadecha ele elai v'lomar v'yarata. Which means Rabbeinu Bachai again explains that they had to give kavod to the malchut. I mean, even though he's a paro, and even though they're going to try to finish him off, and they're going to destroy him with all the makot and everything that you want, he's a melech. And a melech, you have to give kavod. So what are you supposed to do? You have to come, you have to give him kavod. And that's what they went and they said, right? The entire concept of the kavod. So therefore they went and they gave the kavod. That's the concept of El Paro.